Hello, everyone, and welcome to Marvelously Married.
Welcome.
This is Haley,
This is Hogey.
second-time podcaster here, long-time friend.
Forever friend.
Yeah, forever.
Now you're always gonna know what episode we're on because she'll let you
That's
know.
just that's my life hack. That's how I'll remember. So that's therefore how you guys will remember too.
My voice. Okay, so warning to everybody. I'm gonna let everybody know. I've been really sick since last episode. I got like a cold, and then that turned into like some kind of infection. And anyway, I'm recovering now, and things are going okay. But my voice is like not recovered, so I do have like a cough drop right now, and I'm gonna try to do my best to have like good audio quality. But if it's bothering you, just skip this episode. That's fine. Like I just wanted to do something fun. We just wanted to record.
Yeah, and we have so much to talk about. I feel like this was really the episode. The reason why we started last episode when we did was the lead up to a lot of these show finales that we wanted to talk about too. So
Yeah,
we had to fit it in, and somehow I've managed to completely pretty much avoid getting sick. So that's really great. Really thankful for that.
kind of weird. Like I've been super sick, and you did not get sick at all.
Yeah, just my sleep is affected.
So, wanted to let everyone know about like a feature of our podcast, I guess. So check the bio. If you're on Spotify, especially, you can just click the timestamps, and it'll take you to that spot in the podcast. But I try to label every spot so that if you're not interested in a topic, you can skip ahead. So I don't know how big the overlap is of reality TV fans and Marvel fans.
Very niche.
We're trying to build that audience like by the dozens. So, hopefully we're successful in our mission.
At least by the fives.
Yeah, by the handfuls. So, but yeah, if you don't want to hear reality TV, you want to skip ahead to Marvel, look in the show notes and you should be able to find what time you should start. We will have spoilers in this episode for Love is Blind Season 6, Traitors US Season 2, I guess the Oscars, we're going to spoil the Oscars.
Spoiler.
There'll be some rumors for Marvel and the X-Men 2000 if you haven't seen that yet.
Spoiler.
Yeah.
2000.
24
years ago.
Yeah.
Wow, that's old.
And while you are checking out your podcast app, if you could please subscribe, that would be super cool.
Yes.
We love seeing that. And a lot of you did last week, and that was, we only got one episode and people are subscribing. That's really cool. Leaving ratings is something like if you're a super fan, super duper fan, you could do, especially if it's 5-star.
Yeah.
That helps us get featured more in search results.
Yeah. And especially because we, our podcast content, like Hogey's saying, is very, niche. So we want to spread the reality TV and Marvel love.
Yeah. So if you can leave ratings, even if you don't want to leave a wordy paragraph, you could just do the stars or whatever. But
although a wordy paragraph is preferred.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a feature.
Nice words, though. Nice words.
Yeah.
Please. I'll cry.
There's a feature on Spotify. I don't know if we'll use it a lot. But on Spotify, there's like a leave a comment, or I can put a featured question for each episode, and then you can answer that question, and then I can choose if I like your answer to feature it. So like last week, Sarah,
shout out Sarah.
Shout out to Sarah. The question was just like, what do you like about this episode? And she said she was pro spoiler. So that was featured in our episode from last week. So, if you want to interact that way.
That's fun. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and if you want to get updates about the show, Instagram.
Yeah.
At Marvelously Married.
And you can also email us at marvelouslymarried@gmail.com.
We did get our first D20 question submission through email.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
Yep.
So is that the question we're answering? No, because I roll the dice. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we might not necessarily answer it this week, but if we roll another 15, we would.
Well, now I know it's number 15.
Well, I know, but that's cool. Then you could, like, Becca at home can be like, oh, I hope they roll 15. Like, it's fun. It's like the casino.
I'm not supposed to know, though.
Why not?
Because this is our first podcast fight. Because I'm supposed to be surprised about the question.
Oh, because did you read? You don't even have access to the email.
No, or the questions. You did tell me Becca's question, though.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
So, spoiler alert.
Oops.
So that's on you, I guess.
So let's get into our little icebreaker. Break the ice, first date.
Break the ice.
So what are you having for a little drinky?
Less than crispy McDonald's Diet Coke.
Okay. One of our faves.
Yeah. Well, my fave is when it's extra crispy, but this has been watered down since after work. So.
Yeah, usually you take like forever to drink Diet Coke. Yeah. So yours usually get to that state.
I savor it.
Mine, I do too, but I savor it quickly.
That's on brand.
I'm having the Meyer brand chemical drink additive grape flavor.
Groovy grape
in a mason jar.
Yeah.
So
also on brand for Hogey. I think you guys will see Hogey's repertoire of drinks will not vary too often.
There's not much variety. I almost had hot tea today, actually.
Well, that
for the voice thing.
Yeah.
I tried it earlier today. I had some like green tea with honey, and I didn't really see that much of an effect. I thought the cough drops did better. So
maybe after the podcast, you'll need some hot tea
to soothe. Yeah. I do got to make a lot of phone calls when I finally get back to the office, so perhaps that will be a good idea.
Yeah, because you've been working from home.
Okay, and now if Haley, you want to roll that dice, we can get into our D20.
Oh, shoot. Did I lose it? Where did it go? Did Bernard eat it? For real, it's gone. Okay, I got the dice after a big to-do. Bernard did
we
not.
had to like pause it. I thought it was funny at first, and then I was like, this is just going to go forever.
I definitely thought Bernard ate the dice, but he did not. So praise the Lord about that. Okay, here we go. I literally was going to fake the dice roll, and Hogey said, it can't happen. So you heard it. 7. Lucky number 7.
Talk in the microphone.
Sorry. Lucky number 7.
Okay. What is the most adventurous thing you have ever done?
I don't know. I'm not very adventurous.
You aren't. You really aren't.
No, I'm not.
I think for me.
Oh, I think I know what yours is.
Oh, go ahead.
When we hiked the Big M.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't adventurous. That was dumb.
I think adventurous rhymes with dangerous, and so, there's that can be one and the same.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Okay.
Well, tell them what you did.
So we hiked the Big M, which is like in Manistee.
Yeah, right? Which I hiked as well. So I guess that's my most adventurous thing.
That was pretty adventurous.
It's the tallest something in Michigan or something. I don't remember.
We got up to the top, and there's this rope with like a plank of wood on the bottom. And for whatever reason, I think that day I was wearing just like slip-on cowboy boots, which is not good for hiking. Like,
if you could see my face right now,
they have like flat. No, these were these ones were like work boots, so they actually had like a rubber sole. They were comfortable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had like an actual backpack with like water and stuff, and like a little backpack. But yeah. So we get up to the top, and everyone's like, "Oh, I wonder if that swing is safe." Which is what, most people question.
It was when you like sit on and the rope goes between your legs and like the plank goes under your butt. And so you could like on the ground, sit on the rope, and then you could swing out over the thing. Yeah.
Well, when at rest, like where the rope was hanging was over the edge of like over the cliff already, or over the edge of the hill already. And so, and the drop was like in the hundreds of feet.
I have no idea. Don't look at me. I don't know how big that is.
Okay, so it was like...
Well, I don't need to know. It's fine.
Okay.
I mean, I was there.
Yeah. So...
but it was very high.
Everyone's just talking about it, and I'm just like, here we go. I don't know if I said
No, you didn't even say anything. We were standing there, and all of a sudden, he took a few steps back and just started running, and he jumped on it with his feet.
Like feet first. I like locked into that plank
and just swung
over it. Yeah. I just figured like it wouldn't be there, like, and I was the heaviest one in the group. So I was
that
like,
makes also a lot more sense too.
Yeah, well, I wanted to make sure it was safe for everybody else so they could have fun. I don't think anybody else used it.
Nope. Bernard, what do you have? Oh, he brought me a note that says Becca.
But I think like I've had some fun adventures, like winter camping is fun.
Oh yeah, you've done like really cold temps.
Pretty close to well, I don't know, not quite close to death. I'm not going to exaggerate. I had like stage 2 hypothermia, you know, and when you stop shivering, that like freaks me out. I was a Boy Scout. I know things like that. That was at night when I had a sleeping bag with the zipper was broken, and I had to go to the bathroom, and I decided I was just going to go quick, and I wasn't going to put a coat on. And it was like, I think 17 degrees.
I was not here for this. I
7 degrees.
Take no part in this.
No. And that was fun. and
so that was fun.
Yeah, that was the best adventure.
The Go Ruck.
Hike the Go Ruck. Well, yeah. That was traumatic adventure.
Brutal.
Yeah, that was the toughest thing I've ever done. You like to
do things like that. Well, you used to like to do things
Go Ruck.
like that.
If there's any Go Ruck people out there, let me know.
Yeah.
If you've done it, that'd be crazy. Like if you've done a Go Ruck and you're listening to this podcast. Did a tough challenge in Detroit. It was Cadre Jesse's last challenge, and he made it extra tough, and nobody quit, and that was pretty cool. That was like a little self-discovery sort of thing.
Most adventurous thing I've done is tubing behind the boat.
Yeah.
On Birch Lake.
Oh, that's so good. Up. You did. Oh my gosh.
And I've jumped off the back of the boat
that is
while
adventure.
It's been moving.
Yeah.
Mandy, my sister, shout out to Mandy. She can attest. She's got the video footage of me standing on that.
And jumping on. I got some video of you jumping off the boat. Yeah.
So.
Do we have time for another adventure? Or am I just bragging at this point? I'm enjoying telling stories. I love telling stories.
It's our podcast.
So we were in Uganda, and not you, because you don't do any adventures.
I jumped off a boat once.
We hiked this like hill, and I was at this point in my life very out of shape, and we're like, there's these little kids like showing us where to go and everything. I'm like the last one up the hill, and I'm dying, and we're like hiking around doing all this stuff. And then we find out, like, this person starts yelling at us. Well, not yelling at us, but talking to the kids. And I don't know what they're saying, of course. But we were on their land, and we weren't supposed to be.
Uh-oh.
And we had to leave. And it ended up not being a big deal. But I was kind of like
freaking out.
There was a second where because they were translating like little bits and pieces, like at a little bit at a time.
You're like, should I just start running?
And like when they first started talking, they were like, "This happens all the time. You guys are always coming up here." And what they meant was by you guys was white people. And it was just like, I was like, I don't want to be turned into the police and go to like a Uganda jail. Yeah. Anyway, those are my adventures that I thought of. Sorry.
I went to Canada when I was 19.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Went to the bar. Woo!
Adventure.
Dancing.
Didn't even really probably dance. Just kidding.
Okay, so reality TV.
Yeah. We've got some Love is Blind chat to do. Lots of Love is Blind chat.
We do.
Quite a few episodes, including the finale. The reunion comes out this Wednesday.
Well, that's tomorrow, because I'm going to try and get this podcast edited and posted tonight. I'm working on it. Yeah. And so
working around the clock over here, people.
Yeah, for my hobbies. I'm down for this. What's that song? Like, I'm down for my city. Like, I'm down for my hobbies.
I don't know.
That's sorry.
No, that's okay.
I apologize to everybody out there who enjoys music.
Hopefully we don't get
flags for copyright infringement. Yeah.
That was a great reenactment of that song, so I'm sure we will.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's see. I think where we left off, the first thing would be Drunk Chelsea when Jimmy comes back.
Yeah, that was brutal.
I don't want to be with a person like that.
Well, and like permanent grumpy cat face.
Yeah.
That's just her whole thing, bless her heart.
Jimmy should have like, we already said spoilers, but like, I'm so glad they didn't get married. But it looks like, should we say like, okay, we got set.
Yeah.
Are we gonna talk about what's on TikTok and like what's going on?
Yeah, we can talk about whatever we want. I'm gonna back it up a little bit and just give some people let them know what was going on. So Jimmy and Chelsea met his family, and he thought it went great.
Oh, yeah.
And then they came back, and then that's when we realized she had been drinking.
Well, he went out for a birthday party. Had like one drink with his buddy. He was gone for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Like the bare minimum for your friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like literally go sing happy birthday, cheers, and came back home. And she was like, you said in the pods that you didn't ever go out. And I just don't know if I can be married to somebody like that.
Yo, one time... Okay, I'm not.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
I mean, we don't even tell there's not a whole lot of story to tell, but
you need to keep talking into the microphone.
Oh, sorry.
This is a podcast.
I mean, I've definitely been out late with my friend Jenny, but we just get to chatting. I'm not out.
Yeah, no, you're not crazy or nothing. But there was one time where you guys were out, and at like 5 a.m., your designated driver had lost their keys, and I had to come get out of bed, which I don't like doing. Oh my gosh. But I wasn't listening. I mean, Chelsea was like, I don't want to be with that type of person. I was mad.
Well, you were mad because you had to get out of bed.
Yeah, I was mostly mad at the DD who lost the keys. I wasn't mad at you. But Chelsea was like, I don't want to be with that type of person who goes out like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, out like that. It was still daylight when they were having this conversation. She was drunk.
Yeah.
Like, it was a bad look.
Yeah. Not cute. Bless her heart.
Well, update on Chelsea. If you guys don't know, she's on TikTok. She's in therapy now.
Yeah, she's doing better. She's admitted that that she had some issues and some things she needed to work through. Sorry if you guys just heard a big bump in the sound. The dogs be dogging down here.
Yeah, but but unfortunately, it looks like her and Jimmy are talking again. They were out at dinner the other night. They both posted on their stories like the same dinner table.
Which makes me so curious about their contracts, because that's something that like would not have flown. I feel like that's the first time anything like that has happened, like where you've seen a visible update before the reunion.
Oh,
like that. I've been seeing a lot of stuff about like, what are their contracts like? Because the fact that they're even being seen together is like...
One crazy thing I found out about their contract is if they don't go to the altar, like if they leave the pods as a couple engaged, but they do not go to the altar, they got to pay the show $50,000.
Yeah, that's just like
they don't even feed these people.
I mean, yeah, he doesn't mean that they don't literally feed them, but
well, I've heard that the conditions are brutal on this show.
No, I've heard that too, and that's just a built-in thing, like a safety net that they are like trying. I think that anybody could probably get out of it if they worked hard enough, but it's like to scare them into staying, I'm sure.
Yeah. So Jeremy applied. Okay, so Jeremy, the cheater, applied while engaged. Applied to the show while engaged. The people like asking for receipts, and they're like, that's literally like my ex future son-in-law or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, and his like ex-girlfriend or ex-wife also caught him cheating because of location sharing too.
Yeah, so he seems to have a history of not knowing how to
whatever.
I don't know, being a terrible person. That's what his history is.
You know, but hey, speaking of Jeremy, okay, so AD really drilled Sarah Ann.
Yeah, so I don't know if the listeners know, but Jeremy met up with a previous fling that he had in the pods once they got out of the pods. And so AD was like at this lake party was like really coming at Sarah Ann about like, you know, if you could just admit that what you did was wrong, because she reached out to Jeremy initially, blah, blah, blah. I think Hogey and I have very different opinions on this.
So first of all, at the end of the whole lake party, the two of them go out on Sea-Doos.
Yeah.
And like had a date in front of Laura, and I was like, that was savage, and like I was like, that kind of crosses the line.
Yeah.
And he says later that he regrets that, but like whatever. I just think that guy's an idiot.
Yeah.
I just think he's a jerk.
Doesn't think about anybody but himself, seems like.
So I don't really have an issue with Sarah Ann messaging him. I don't. And this is why. I think IRL, you know, somebody's engaged and, you know, and all that, and somebody messages you like that and tries to open the door, that's one thing. That's a no. But on this show where you guys just all met like a week ago, and this engagement's like a week long, and it's kind of an experiment, and it's like reality TV and sort of like a game show, and there's like money involved, and there's just... It's kind of a gray area.
Yeah,
I think it's
trickier.
Okay. Her message was not really that forward.
Yeah, and they literally showed the message on the show. Like, and it was just like, it was just basically like, let me know if, you know, the door is ever open again or whatever. And I don't necessarily have a problem with the message she sent. I think that she said later that these are all the things she wished she could have said in the pods when he first broke it off with her. And I think that if the engagement didn't work out, that would have been her chance to be like, okay, like, I think she let that go, and she should have just let it go. And then if it didn't work out, then they could reconnect and she could send a message like that. But it just seemed like, just let it run its course. It seemed like she maybe wanted more airtime a little bit too. Like, it seemed like very pick me behavior, like, in my opinion. But I don't necessarily have a problem with it being like the engagement thing. I think you are right about that. Like the timeline and stuff. I think that makes sense.
I think like for me, like, I don't know, a lot of these people, they're all on like different levels of how serious they're taking this and everything. You know, like for instance, we'll get into Clay.
Well, and I will say that a lot of the girls apply, we found out too, and the guys are sought after. Like maybe through social media, like the majority of the guys are people that they've received messages. Like, have you ever considered going on a show like this, from like scouting people at Love is Blind or whatever?
Really?
Yeah. So I think that definitely makes a huge difference.
Yeah. And like you said with Sarah Ann, your theory about her wanting airtime, like, I mean, I think that about all of them. I think that because they all come into this, they have like agents,
agendas and stuff.
They're like trying to be reality
influencers,
personalities. They're all trying to get on the Traitors.
Yeah. If we're being honest, that's really the end goal.
They're like, I got my eyes on season 7.
Oh my gosh, that'd be crazy if Love is Blind people were on the Traitors.
Why?
That's just that would be funny.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, that would be cool.
So when Jimmy, going back to Chelsea and Jimmy, when they finally did break up, the line he started with for why they broke up was going back to the whole Johnny and Amy being the strongest couple thing.
Yeah, at the lake house.
I'm like, dude,
that didn't make any sense.
You're so clueless. They are the strongest couple.
Yeah,
like
they're the only ones that got married.
I'm so happy for them.
Yeah, me too. Love them.
Yeah, hopefully they figure out
Johnny,
birth control.
Amy, if you're listening, love you.
Love you.
Hope you figure out birth control if that's what you want to do. It's your situation.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff about the birth control thing, though, that was the only thing that they ever had like kind of differing opinions on, which we kind of discussed already. Like, it is what it is. But the things I've seen on the internet is like people could tell that like Netflix was like probably like really wanting them to talk about that. Like, so they'd be like, talk about the birth control thing again.
Yeah,
so
I
that's
bet
what.
that
And now, like, thinking back to the show, it's like, yeah, it definitely felt like that. Like,
yeah, they like kept getting brought up, and I don't even know that they really had different opinions. They both just seemed really ignorant about it. Because at first they were like, well, you'll just get a vasectomy and then we'll have it reversed. And like immediately I was like, that's kind of risky. Like, that doesn't always work out. And then eventually he was like, I did some research and that doesn't always work out. And like, I don't think she'd ever heard of an IUD or like alternatives. Like, I don't know. I know there's some other things out there, but anyway, I hope they figure that out.
Yeah.
And yeah, we won't get into that too much. So Clay and AD.
Yes.
That was a shocker for me.
Yes, they said.
He said no after she said yes.
Yes, she said yes at the altar. So the only two couples that went into weddings, like Hogey said, was Clay and AD and Johnny and Amy. Johnny and Amy got married. Love them. We'll talk more about that maybe here in a minute. But Clay and AD, she said yes. He said no.
Yeah.
Which she definitely seemed very shocked about.
Yeah.
I mean, I was shocked.
I think everybody was.
Yeah.
And he had a conversation with her earlier and kind of said, what if we just don't get married and we can just like keep being engaged? And she said no.
Yeah, she had said.
But then after this happened at the altar, he continued and he was like kissing on her and stuff. And I was like, dude, it's over for you.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, you're going to have to tell me to stop. And I was like, bro, you told her no.
Yeah.
Like, I was just like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
But the whole moral of the story there, I mean, like for me, this guy, it's that whole like, I don't know what you call it. Do you just call it a meme now? Like, do we just let's call it like sayings or like, you know, like the old adage, like we just call them memes now. But you know, like nice girls aren't therapists. Like, go get a real therapist, bro.
Right.
Like he was like constantly, and he was constantly giving her credit to her and complimenting her on like, you've helped me work through all this stuff, and I've grown so much with you, and like all this stuff. And it was like, I just have so much further to go. And
well, and he was one of the ones that they were saying you could definitely tell was a recruit, that like he didn't apply to the show because he was looking to get married and like really, which now makes sense because I this whole time have been thinking, why did he come on this show if he's like not sure he's ready to get married?
Yeah.
But now so it's kind of like, okay, I think that actually makes sense. And like I will say with Clay, honestly, I was surprised because I do think that they seemed very compatible and like they communicated pretty well, but he was always open about like, I just am not sure if I'm ready. Like, it's not like that was something he hadn't said at all before the altar.
Dude thought, I know it's been like an overused joke, but he really thought like cheating was hereditary.
Yeah.
He was like, he was going to go get a DNA test to find out if he was going to cheat on her and always bringing it up.
Yeah.
He eventually stopped, but it was just like, dude. Like he was like, well, my dad cheated.
Well, there was a pretty intense conversation between his dad and mom after the ceremony, which I thought was hard to watch. But I think it needed to happen. I mean, and he just explained, he said he was like, you know, I didn't have any good role models and I know I messed up and things, you know, it's just the decisions we make affect the people around us. Right. And so unfortunately, Clay has a lot of baggage that sounds like he needs to unpack with hopefully a therapist and not another
girl he's trying to date.
Yeah.
Or,
yeah.
You know, marry or whatever. Yeah, that whole show. I don't know. I hate it, but I'm just gonna keep watching. Anyway, I hope they get new hosts. I'm not really looking forward to the reunion. Like, I think that Vanessa Lachey is so cringe. Maybe she'll get her stuff together. Maybe she'll like listen to the feedback she's been given by viewers and stop asking about when Love Is Blind babies. She's probably going to be the first thing out of her mouth.
I don't think it will be. I hope that she learns that lesson.
There was somebody on a previous.
There's two people that are pregnant. Love Is Blind people. Bliss and Zach.
Oh.
And the Alex and what's his name? The cowboy guy.
Oh, okay.
The one, she was like Jewish and he was like a cowboy. They got married.
Congrats.
Yeah,
from your fans.
Yeah.
But
I will say, I know you're like, oh, I hate the show, and like I get it. Like it's yucky sometimes, but I love, and like Johnny and Amy really made the show for me. Like, and like her brother being there, like that was just such a special moment. Like. It was all really,
that
really
was
great.
the cheers with the brother. Like there was some great moments. Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, I like that.
So on to a more wholesome show, The Traitors. So basically where we left off was really on episode 4. We were watching it kind of slow.
And then
then I got sick, and then all we had that we could do was watch.
Well, you.
Yeah. So... you actually got to go do some fun stuff this week.
You mean go to the store every day?
Whatever. You went out with friends and stuff. So Kate came back this season.
Yeah.
Crazy.
From season 1. She's from Below Deck too. I loved her. We hated her in season 1, but I loved her.
She was awful.
We liked her near the end. She started to come around for us.
Because she finally... There was a midpoint, like half of the show or whatever. In the middle of the show, she was just like trying to sabotage everybody, and she was like, "I hate it here. You guys are dumb." Yeah,
she was being rude.
She was very awful. So this season was different than last season because it was all celebs.
Yes.
No normies. Like the most normal person would be like Larsa Pippen.
Yeah.
Would be like the most normal person.
So it was like a mix of like competition people from like Big Brother, Survivor, but then also like the Bravo shows, like the Real Housewives, and a lot of Real Housewives people. And a couple Love Island, not Love is Blind, Love Island.
Yep.
Bergie. And Ekin-Su from the UK. But yeah, no normies.
So overall, like, I thought that I don't really like that, because I think there should be some normies in there.
Oh, I feel the opposite. I liked how it seemed like more even playing field.
You really think so? Go ahead.
Yeah, because it's like that, I don't know, it was like made it too personal when it was the celebrity reality people and just like regular everyday people, because then it was like, you're on these reality shows all the time. You have lots of opportunities and potential to make this money again in some other capacity. And when it was just a normal person, it was like, okay, well, sucks to suck. Bye. It just seemed like, well, this is ruthless in my opinion, but.
Well, what I liked about the variety and the normies and everything, what I didn't like is that you had basically what it turned into is you had your Bravo people, and then you had like your CBS people,
like the competition show people,
your Big Brother, the Challenge, the Survivor people.
Oh, Challenge, yeah, they're on there.
And then you had your Bravo Housewives people, Below Deck, whatever, and it just got really cliquey.
Yeah.
And then it turned into like an us versus them. Like the faithfuls did not work together a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And especially Peter really caused a lot of that, because he had his like secret group and
alliance, which doesn't make any sense in the show Traitors to have alliance. The alliance should be faithfuls and traitors.
Yeah. Where was Peter from? What show?
The Bachelor.
What was wrong with him? Why was he trying to make? He would literally tell people to leave the room. Leave the room. We're talking.
Yeah,
just a second.
I know.
He was awful.
I can't believe he lasted as long as he did. I mean, he ended up I think that he had a lot of smart gameplay.
Yes.
But I think that he didn't really execute himself or whatever perfectly.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he got voted out because he started acting, and he started just getting too much power in his head because of that.
Yeah.
And he started trying to make deal with people he knew were traitors, and then that turned people against him, of course.
Then they thought he was a traitor.
You're done, dude.
Yeah.
So he went out eventually, but eventually in the show they made Kate a traitor.
Yeah.
I mean, she didn't have a choice, really.
Before they made Kate a traitor was when Dan got murdered.
Yep.
And he got banished. Because he was a traitor. And Dan is like a legendary Big Brother person, very game oriented. For him, it's very much like not personal at all. It's like, these are game decisions. Like, I'm just here to try and play the game. And those of us from Big Brother background like totally get that and respect that.
Yeah.
But the Housewives people, they just think it's mean.
Yeah.
They're just like, because he basically at the round table that he got banished at, his last ditch effort was to call Phaedra out.
Yeah.
Who she was another traitor. So it definitely got people thinking that Phaedra was probably a traitor, because Dan basically knew he was going home. So it was like, okay, well, Dan would know that Phaedra's a traitor if he's also a traitor. So
yeah, Trishelle caught on to that.
Yeah, it definitely caused a lot of suspicion. And so Phaedra is pretty. I mean, obviously Phaedra didn't win or anything, and she's pretty at the reunion was pretty upset still.
Yeah, yeah, and for context, the reunion was 4+ months later, and Phaedra was still angry with Dan.
Yeah,
and MJ was still angry with CJ and Trishelle, who won the show. CT.
Yeah.
And I was just like, just get over it.
Yeah. It's
4 months later, you should wake up the next day and
Yeah.
brush it off.
Right.
Like, I just grow up.
Right.
I can't believe that. They should let me on that show. Don't let MJ on that show. Put me on that show. But I think that Phaedra, one of her biggest mistakes was that crossbow game. Where she swithed targets because she was going after somebody.
The stained glass breaking.
Yep.
Trishelle, she switched and went up for Trishelle.
Yep, because she wanted she did not want Trishelle to have safety. It was looking like Trishelle would get the safety.
Yeah.
She changed targets when they had like the whole team the whole group had a clear plan of, this is what we're doing. This is our method.
Yeah.
And I don't know, just a lot of these people. A lot of these people did not think ahead very far.
Yeah.
With these traitors, it was not very good.
Right.
Sorry, going back to the Dan thing though.
Oh yeah.
And throwing Phaedra under the bus.
Mm-hmm.
So I get involved in, I like Reddit a lot. I follow a lot of Reddit communities for a lot of different things. But apparently in the Traitors UK, it is very common for traitors to go and use each other as shields.
Oh.
So maybe Dan watched that show to prep ahead of time. And like that was kind of his strategy.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah. So in the end, so like we said,
the end was, that was a tough, the finales are so good.
The finale was very good. Yeah. There was a lot of the show that was like kind of painful to watch and boring and just, you want to pull your hair out because everybody's making bad decisions, but the finale was really good.
Mm-hmm.
And the reunion, like we already said, like people were still salty and that was annoying.
Yeah. But I thought it was crazy how Trishelle wrote CT's name. Trishelle and CT are both from the challenge, and they've been like pretty close. They were pretty close the whole show. And for Trishelle to turn on CT and try and not finish the show, not finish the game with him and split the money was pretty ruthless. But it was a deadlock tie, so they had to revote, and she ended up changing her vote, and they voted MJ off, and so it was just her and CT, Trishelle and CT, that got to split the money. Yeah,
good show to watch. One thing that came up at the reunion, so Peppermint was from RuPaul's Drag Race. She's a drag entertainer, maybe trans woman. I don't really know. I shouldn't say I don't care. I'm just not sure how this person identifies, but presents as a woman, and she was given time to express her frustration with being targeted for being different, and she thought that was because that she was part of the LGBTQ community.
Yeah, well, I think it was kind of, the question was formed more as like, were you disappointed to be the first one sent home?
She wasn't the first one sent home.
I thought she was the first one banished.
Oh, was she?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because the weird guy, but Johnny Bananas got murdered. And then was she the first one banished?
Peppermint was the first one banished, I think.
So she gave a very long answer about that. She was either first or second. You're right.
Yeah.
And the thing that like bothered me about that. Okay, so first of all, she's right. In shows like this, somebody who's different does not fare well. Like we saw that last season too with the guy that was like either like Russian or Eastern European. Like he was kind of neurodivergent. He would walk into a room and then like back out of it slowly, and he would just kind of act really suspicious, and people were weird about him, and he wouldn't talk to people that much, and he got voted out. It's just like how it is. And it's unfortunate, but like you're in this castle trying to pick up on any little. Remember when they were choosing the traitors? Was it Trishelle who said like,
I don't even remember.
There was one girl who was like, I heard Alan's arm, the fabric on his arm raise near me, so I think somebody near me is a traitor sitting at the table. I was like, that's ridiculous. That's the most ridiculous thing. And then like they were questioning John's breathing, and he lied and said he had asthma, and that became like a whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, look. Going back to the Peppermint thing, I got off track. So it is unfortunate that hapens. But the thing is, Peppermint called herself a traitor. Yeah. She did it on accident, but she was out in the room with everybody around, and she's like, I'm a traitor. Yeah. Oh, I mean, I'm a faithful. Yeah. And I was like, yeah.
That's why she got voted out.
I would have voted for you, too.
Yeah,
like,
because they didn't have that early on in the game. They didn't have a lot to go off of anyway, so... Oh. It was kind of like, I don't feel like she was targeted because she was different necessarily. I think she was targeted because she said she was a traitor.
Yeah, I don't know. That just kind of bothered me. But, it was just kind of like playing the victim thing. And it was like, I don't think that's what happened in this case. Anyway, let's move on from that. Sorry. So the Oscars, we talked about that.
We watched the Oscars. We didn't talk about it yet, though.
Well, we mentioned it in our last episode.
Just making sure you're not feverish over there.
Yeah, no, I'm good. So we talked about that in our last episode, that we would be watching it. We downloaded the Fubo app. So
Do not recommend. This is not an ad for them. Do not get that app.
Yeah, so I don't know if it was our TV, because I saw in the App Store it had good ratings, but like it did not.
We've never had success with that app.
Yeah.
We've downloaded it and tried to use it before.
Yeah, you're right.
Not a fan.
Boo.
Yeah,
them.
but what are you getting paid by Big Fubo?
No, I'm not.
Over there?
You know what? Screw Fubo.
They're not paying for this podcast.
It did not work. Like you tried to like pause it, and it would just I had to like restart the TV. Like you try to fast forward anything, like it was bad.
Brutal.
And, anyway, so starts off with the red carpet.
You shouldn't have pet her. You were.
Oh no, I thought the multicam footage on the red carpet was top notch. I think all other award shows should take note because sometimes that gets boring, and you can see they had like 4 cameras going at once. So
so you could see what other people were wearing and stuff.
And then there was one interview going at a time. Some disappointments I had of
the red carpet show.
No. Do you want to talk more about the red carpet?
Oh yeah, I don't think that it was that great of a show, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like it was only 30 minutes.
When Tan did it, it was great on the Emmys or
the SAG Awards.
The SAG Awards.
Yeah, I thought that the Netflix red carpet show was much better. But that was it about the red carpet show.
Too far away.
Sorry.
So there were some performances that were really good at the Oscars. Billie Eilish did so good. It was better than the Grammys. She was standing time instead of sitting, and I thought it was awesome. The big moment was the I'm Just Ken, of course.
Yes, that is, a lot of Hogey and I have gotten really into watching these award shows this year, and so now at the Oscars it seems like, okay, this is all feels like repeat stuff. Like we've seen all these people, we've seen all these performances, but not the Ryan Gosling I Am Ken performance.
So like it was crazy that like Slash showed up, and then I found out I never knew that he actually played a part on that song like the whole time.
That's what you said.
But that was awesome that he was there, and like all the other Kens were.
That's so weird. I knew that.
You did?
I didn't know that. I'm just kidding. I don't even know who Slash is. Literally, I was like, who's that? You were so excited. I'm like, don't know.
Okay. So Oppenheimer won like 7 awards, and Poor Things won like 4.
Yeah.
Oppenheimer, I don't know. It was good. We haven't watched Poor Things yet. We want to.
Yeah.
We're going to watch that soon. Every time Barbie was nominated, I was like, they should win.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
Honestly, they didn't win that much. Did they win anything?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Well, Billie Eilish won for her song in that movie.
So I was really two big upsets for me. I really thought, and a lot of people did, that Across the Spider-Verse should have won animated.
Yes.
I don't know why the pastel colored anime, the boy and his heron or whatever.
I haven't seen that.
Well, I haven't either, but like Spider-Verse, it's just like that's like
that was amazing.
And maybe because it's a sequel, like maybe sequels just don't do as well.
Yeah.
I don't know, but that was like incredible, and like different styles of artwork throughout.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have different styles of artwork in the same scene.
Right.
Like, I mean, it's so cool.
I mean, I don't know much about how these things are decided upon, and I know there's lots of controversy on like, who's most deserving or da-da-da-da. But I'm just going to be real. I really like to watch these shows to see what people are wearing.
Okay.
So I don't really know.
Well, I'll get through it real quick.
No, you're fine. I like to hear your thoughts. I'm just letting everybody know I'm not going to have very similar thoughts.
Okay.
But I do have my favorite outfits.
My next thought was that Godzilla -1 won best visuals. I heard it's good for the Monster Universe people that like that. It's not really my favorite thing, but I heard it's a great movie. That's all. That's fine. But the creator lost, and like not many people are saying much about it. You do see every time I see a post, there's at least one person that's like the creator should have won.
And that was a made for Hulu movie, right?
I just don't think a lot of people saw it, and so I don't think a lot of people know. But I'm here to I don't know. I'm go and just Google like the creator images, creator visuals, like however you would.
Yeah.
Find some still images. Look at the creator. Look at Godzilla. Watch them both. It's crazy. Like there's no comparison. I'm sorry. Like, this should have won. Anyway,
it did have really cool visuals, but again, I haven't seen either of them. But I did see the creator when you were watching it, like bits and pieces.
Yeah. Also, I think John Mulaney should host next year.
John Mulaney, that was so cool.
Yeah,
that he presented an award.
He was really good.
Oh, Bernard, so sweet. I will say some of my favorite outfits.
Okay.
I really like Melissa McCarthy's dress. It was like the pink and red, or the orange and pink. I'll get it together. Orange and pink dress. Emma Stone, she looked really cute, although she did have a dress malfunction.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I like to watch these shows, is to see those little things. Drama. Yeah, like the things that you'd only know, like if you know, yeah. Sort of stuff. And then who else? There was somebody else. If I think of it, I'll come back to it, but I can't remember right now. I really like Melissa McCarthy's though.
Cool. Mm-hmm. I remember Emma Stone's. I think hers was cool.
Yeah, it was like that mint green. It was really, really cute. I really liked it.
Yeah. Ariana Grande looked like she was.
for.
Oh yeah, she looked great in her Barbie dress.
Yeah,
I
really
think pink was like played out, so like there was a lot of black in this award show.
Yeah, that's what they were saying this year. Like everybody was doing black. But did you know that her dress, America's, was made out of chainmail? Like the chain, like
that's
that.
Cool.
Yeah. It was really cool. It was like made obviously specifically for her. So.
But yeah, was it Ariana Grande? She looked like she had like a blanket on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trash can mode.
Yeah, trash can mode. Any book updates from you?
Okay, well, I can still read.
Great.
I still have not finished my book, Anxious People, in full transparency, but we're going on vacation next week. At the end of the week, we're going to Florida, and I just ordered my book that I'm going to be reading on vacation, and I'm very excited about it. I'm going to be reading People We Meet on Vacation.
Wow. Is
the name of it.
Is it a horror?
No. Oh my gosh. Why would you even say that? It's written by somebody who does an author who does a lot of summer style books. A lot of her other books, I can't remember her name right now off the top of my head. Anyways, a lot of her book, Emily something, I've read at the lake house. And so, yeah, I like to read her books during the summer. So I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, okay. I finished my Star Wars Aftermath Life Debt book. It was pretty good. I definitely had some twists and turns in there. And I started a new one, which is also a Star Wars book, of course. And it is called From a Certain Point of View. And it is, there's 3 of them. It's for it was the 50th? Yeah. 40th years.
40th sounds familiar.
40th year anniversary of the films coming out. They release these books, and they're like retellings of the movies, but from points of view of either minor characters or characters who were extras, maybe, or people who just weren't even in the scene at all, just like, around the environment or whatever.
That's cool.
But it's other things going on while the movies are going on, and, tells more. It just kind of expands the universe, makes it a little fuller. So I'm really enjoying that, but I haven't done much reading because I've been having like stuff leak out of my eyes. So.
Wow.
Sorry. All right. Now we can get into our Marvel talk.
Yes.
Let's start with our rumors.
Okay, so Hogey I'm not really good at keeping up on this stuff, so I have a feeling there's some things here that a lot of these things I'm not even going to know. So Hogey's telling me for the first time too. So I'm reacting right here with you.
Okay.
Listeners.
I'm going to try and get through them kind of fast, but it sounds like Andrew Garfield's going to continue to play Spider-Man, but no solo film in the future, unfortunately. So no Amazing Spider-Man 3 or any kind of solo film.
So wait, Tom Holland isn't going to be?
No, yeah, but you know how they're like all in like the Spider-Verse now, and like they're all Spider-Man.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Like this?
Yeah, pointing at each other, and yep. So Nicolas Cage, Ghost Rider in Deadpool 3.
Okay.
Actually, I have another. Let's see. I have a couple. I'm gonna tie a couple of these together as a stutter through this. So, Deadpool 3 has many cameos. They just keep saying there's many people traveling to London, and I even see Jennifer Garner's name on there to play Elektra.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
it's like 13 going on 30, 13 going on Elektra.
One of Haley's favorite superhero movies.
Well, I don't know about that, but Jennifer Garner's one of my favorite actors.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
love her. Is that the thing you've been...
I thought you liked Elektra.
I mean, I haven't seen that in forever.
I know.
Is that an MCU thing?
No, but the like Deadpool, it's like a... This
is so confusing.
It's like a TVA, like he's cleaning up the timelines, like, and all this stuff. Yeah.
That's exciting.
So Secret Wars, which will also kind of be like this, which will have like different timelines and stuff. So Hugh Jackman says he'll return for Secret Wars, but only if he gets to interact with Tobey Maguire and Robert Downey Jr.
Okay.
So he's put that out there into the universe. So there's a possibility. I know a lot of people would like to see RDJ as Iron Man again. Personally, pass the torch. I don't know. Maybe there's been enough time. Maybe it'd be cool. Because by that time it'd be like, I don't know, 10 years almost, 8 years. So
wow.
Yeah.
I can't believe
Maybe it'd be cool to see him just for a little bit or something. So the leader returning for Captain America 4, which is a character that was originally teased in the 2008 film. He's a guy with a big brain.
Okay.
I'm going to sneak in a Boys update, but The Boys season 4, June 13th.
My birthday.
There you go. Tom Holland appeared on the set of Daredevil Born Again. And I love that. So Daredevil and Spider-Man is like one of my favorite team-ups. I love the street level Marvel. That's like kind of my favorites, so like real gritty and stuff. And the Galaxy stuff is cool, but eventually I don't know. I kind of get sick of it. But so apparently Feige's in talks with Sony about Spider-Man 4, with Holland. And Feige wants to do street level, and Sony wants to do multiverse.
Okay.
So they're going back and forth trying to find compromise. So it might be a combination of both, or maybe they'll one of the sides will concede or whatever. So
both I think would be good.
Yeah. Maybe.
We'll see.
Yeah, maybe or just like do a street level movie, and then at the end do a Spider-Verse thing for the end credits. I don't know. So a lot of like Disney just put out a whole bunch of like release dates and like upcoming stuff for Disney Plus.
Okay.
X-Men 97, that's on March 20th. So that's X-Men the animated series. They're continuing that.
Okay. Did you see that? The X-Men.
I have seen that.
Okay.
Yeah, when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
The guy that created that show got fired today or yesterday.
Oh. I almost said R.I.P., but he's not dead. I guess that's good.
I think there's a scandal there because he deleted all his social media and stuff. So got fired on his day off. So it's probably like a morality thing. Another one is Agatha Darkhold Diaries this fall. So they've renamed that one twice now.
Yes.
So I think this name, changing the name to Darkhold Diaries, actually gets me more excited than any of the other ones that they teased. Because about the Darkhold and the history of the Darkhold, I find that kind of like intriguing. So
yeah, I think that'll be good. I'm very excited to see her on the screen again.
Something called Eyes of Wakanda 2024. So this is like a prehistory of the MCU, like a Wakanda. So like it's a Wakanda history, like of like anthology of adventures, where they're trying to collect artifacts from around the world. This happens like before the MCU. It's going to be animated.
Oh.
And I think it's part of the MCU. Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man comes out in 2024, which was originally supposed to be called Spider-Man Freshman Year.
Oh, okay, yes.
Yeah.
Which is the part 2 of the... Is that the part 2 of the one that we just saw in theaters? Not just in theaters, but...
No, it's just like... It's an animated...
Yeah, that's what... Animated...
Part 2 of what?
What we saw where it's at the end, they're in the different universe, and he's the Black or he's the Purple Prowler.
No, you're thinking of So
I'm
Into the
confused.
Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse, and I think it'll be called Beyond the Spider-Verse is the third one.
Okay.
That's something else.
Okay.
Sony's making that.
Okay.
So.
Dang, I can't keep it all straight. Good thing I have you, Hogey.
Well, that is the end of our rumors.
The end of the show. Bye.
Bye.
Just kidding. We didn't even talk about X-Men.
Yeah. We didn't even say that at the beginning of the episode, what we're going to talk about. But, I mean, the title of the episode says it, so.
Yeah, we did. We said X-Men 24 years ago. Spoiler alert, we're going to be talking about X-Men.
Oh, yeah. You're
Hogey's
right.
sick. It's okay, guys. Please forgive him.
Sorry. Okay, so set the mood. Our food for that evening.
Oh, I made a good dinner. It was a nice dinner, I think I made. If I remember correctly, it was nice.
Yeah, what was it?
I don't remember. I took a picture of it, though. I posted it on my Instagram. So if you follow us at Marvelously Maisel, then you should remember what it was.
Well, what's our Instagram?
Oh. Marvelously Married.
Well, I'll try to help you out.
Yeah, you help
there
me
were
out.
green beans.
Okay. Is this a pop quiz?
There was a mushroom risotto.
I thought you remembered. Oh, and then the chicken thighs.
Baked chicken thighs.
Yeah, the
yep.
baked chicken thighs. So the mushroom risotto I got from Aldi, and it was like a pack. But of course, I have to.
You didn't make that.
I have to season it.
Oh,
up.
you did make it.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah. It was just like rice, and then it came with some seasoning, and then I added my own mushrooms, onions, stuff like that. It was really good.
And cautionary tale: it takes a long time to cook.
Yeah, we had a delayed start to the movie because of it.
But it's okay because it's a short movie, an hour and 45 minutes.
Bring back the hour and a half
Love it.
movie, sub 2-hour movie, please.
So for dessert, we had.
I was so excited about this. Hogey didn't know. I said, I got a special sweet treat. And I got us Ben and Jerry's.
Yes, we each had our own little carton.
Yeah, because they were buy one, get one free this week through our M Perks. Shout out Meyer.
Mine was a little sugar-free one. And
It was not sugar-free. Dairy-free.
okay, dairy-free.
Yeah. Acting like I skimped on you.
I'm glad it had sugar.
That would have been terrible.
I knew something was missing, but...
Yeah, well, the spicy dairy gets to Hogey a little bit, so...
Yeah. Okay, so X-Men.
Oh, but what flavor of Ben & Jerry's did you have? Do you remember?
We never figured that out. It was just like a mixture. It was like a charcuterie board of ice
the
cream.
Tonight Dough.
It was not like
yeah,
that.
It was by Jimmy Fallon. It was called the Tonight Dough. Like the Tonight Show?
That's what the ice cream was called?
Yes.
Don't talk to me.
Oh,
talk
sorry.
to that.
Sorry. And it was like different, like brownie dough, cookie dough, stuff like that.
Yeah, it was good.
But remember, I thought it was called Americone Dream.
Yeah, you kept saying that. And you're like, what do you mean? She's like, there's no cone in it. There's no bits of ice cream cone. I'm like, no.
And I said, that's so weird because it's called Americone Dream. And you were like, I know. And it was never called that. And I had Cherry Garcia. So that's our ice cream.
Okay, so X-Men 2000. So here's a little bit of like history, right?
Yeah.
Marvel back in the 90s pretty much going bankrupt. Things are not going well for Marvel. So the last time they had tried to make a movie was for theaters. There was a lot of like released to video or direct to TV movies. Well, we don't need to talk about those. We got to decide at some point if we're ever going to feature those on the podcast or if we're only going to do movies that went to theaters. That'll be a rule we can figure out at some point. But the last time they had a movie that goes to theaters is Howard the Duck, which I don't know why you would make that movie.
Oh, no.
It was an awful movie.
Yeah.
And it doesn't do well. And the comics aren't doing well in the 90s. I mean, this is when you had, I don't know why they're not doing well. Thunderstrike. Remember Thunderstrike?
Yeah.
The Thor variant?
Yeah.
So, and things like Cable. Cable was cool. But, so things are going bad. They're facing bankruptcy. They start selling off movie rights to different studios, like all over the place. So I can't even remember who makes Blade, but Blade gets made, 1998. Wesley Snipes. Amazing. Perfect cinema.
I'm rolling my eyes.
100% rating. If I could give it more, I would.
Yeah, Hogey's a big Blade fan.
I love Blade. So Blade comes out, and it's often credited as what saved Marvel. And while that may be true, I think X-Men should get some credit for that too. If we have like a 1-2 punch, right?
Critical. X-Men was critical.
X-Men was pretty critical. X-Men is way more mainstream than Blade. X-Men is like A-list. Blade is like C-list, you know. And X-Men with the uniforms, they modernized the uniforms or made them, that kind of set the set the standard for the MCU. Like when the MCU started, we had like those like costumes that kind of didn't really look like the comic books. They looked more realistic, I guess you could say, or whatever. And anyway, this movie's really important.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to say. For Marvel. And
yeah, well, and the story and like what it represents too, I think is really powerful. Like for, because isn't it? That's like a lot of like the civil rights type stuff is like depicted in the X-Men.
It has been used as like allegory. Is that the right word?
Mm-hmm.
Like an allegory for civil rights, and like people compare, Professor X to Martin Luther King, and they'll compare Magneto to Malcolm X.
Malcolm X, yeah.
And it has been used in that way, and it's been used also for like more recently for like LGBTQ, pride.
Oh, okay.
Are we? I'm not complaining, but like it's faster to say pride than LGBTQ. Are we allowed to just say pride?
I have no idea.
I'll like look that up. So, but that's been a thing for mutants, and even in one of the movies, I think it was Iceman was trying to like come out to his parents as a mutant, and it really paralleled like a gay son coming out to their parents, and I think that was in X2.
Yeah,
might have been. Which was even better than this movie, if you can believe it.
Yeah, that one, I can't believe it.
I can't believe it. Yeah. So what are your thoughts on this movie? Like what?
It's really good. I really liked it. But I think it's interesting. There was a quote that I saw this week that we watched the movie that I felt like really kind of got the point across of a point in the movie that I thought was important. Let's see here. Understanding like Magneto's concerns and like his frustrations with his like coming from where he's come from and seeing his point of view on like the things that he saw and the things that he's experienced. That the quote is by Justin McRoberts. I did share it on my Instagram feed this week too, but it's even in conflict, may I see people as beloved instead of problematic. Obviously Magneto is very problematic in this, but it's like, there are things that like he has his own story and his own things that have brought him to this point. That is really gut wrenching. It's sad and it's, sucks,
Yeah.
So I just thought that was like a powerful point of like something we can bring into everyday like life.
Yeah. Keep talking to that mic. It sounds better that way. So, one of the things, and this is in a later movie, I can't remember which one, probably X2, because I think all the good stuff happens in X2. Might not have been though, but Magneto's like recruiting mutants, and there's this other mutant faction that they like tattoo their faces and stuff like that to mark themselves as mutants, to be proud of being mutants. And they're like, well, if you're a mutant and you're proud of it, then like, where's your tattoo? And he shows his mark from the concentration camp, and he's like, no needle will ever touch my body again, or whatever like that. And like this character has, and X-Men starts out with like when he bends those gates.
Yeah.
And that scene's recreated in another movie. There's so many X-Men, and they change timelines in X-Men. Oh, I can't wait to get into some of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I'm interested to see if when they reboot the MCU, because in case you don't know that, after Secret Wars, the plan is the MCU is going to be rebooted. There's going to be new actors and everything.
Yeah.
So when they reboot the MCU and they bring in the X-Men into the main timeline and everything, will they still be tied to, like, will Magneto's stories, will he still be Jewish?
Yeah.
Because what if you got to move his story up a little bit, so maybe now he's part of the civil rights movement, or maybe he's queer.
Yeah.
You know, and something like that. Maybe he's queer in like the 80s or something. And that's another one. There was the AIDS epidemic. There was a whole X-Men comic line where there was like an anti-mutant virus that the government put out to like target at mutants and make them go extinct, and it was this whole thing. And it was a parallel to the real life.
That's from the comic books.
Yeah. So there's
interesting.
They use the X-Men in a lot of ways to tell minority stories and things like that. People that are oppressed and yeah. So it'll be interesting to see if backstories will change for the modern era.
Yeah.
I'd be open to that idea. It is dangerous sometimes if you take a character that's been rooted in, like, you know, this character's been Jewish and then you make him not Jewish, like, you know, so that might be difficult.
It's a big part of the story, but I think, like you're saying, there's a lot of different ways that they could,
because if you make him Magneto come through the concentration camps as a young child, I don't know if he'd really be alive today when they reboot the MCU. So I think you have to maybe change the story.
Right.
Or reset the timeline.
Yeah.
Maybe they will. I don't know.
Yeah.
Be interesting.
Lots of options.
Yeah, there you go. The options are all options. So Hugh Jackman's 32 in this movie.
I couldn't believe that. We're 35.
He's been playing this character for 23 years. And not just like playing this character for 23 years, right? He's made 10 movies during that time, which includes, like, which
includes The Greatest Showman. Just kidding.
Yeah. Yes. Which is canon to the MCU. Nightcrawler was in Greatest Showman, if you didn't see him. Oh, but 10 movies, including, if you include Deadpool 3, that's 10 movies. That's a movie every 2 or 3 years playing this character. That means it's almost in constant production. Like, he hasn't really had time to do much else. And he's been, like, really committed to it. And he's been a perfect casting, and I love him.
Yeah, I think
he could be a little bit shorter. But
I mean, if we're picking things.
Or if we're going to pick it apart. But.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't believe how young I was like, oh, my gosh, he looks like a baby. I mean, like we said, that was 24 years ago.
Yeah, 20. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I forgot Sabretooth was in this film, and when he jumped out of the woods, like, I was like, yeah, that was so exciting.
Sabretooth, you can also catch his character in the movie Cats, the Broadway. Literally, it looks like he had just done his
just got done out of hair
premiere,
and makeup.
From Cats, and just came right onto this, like they dual cast him or whatever.
Yeah.
So nasty.
Keep going. That's good. I don't have any more notes, actually.
Oh, that's it? Really?
Yeah.
I had lots of notes about like Halle Berry. I'm like, man, haven't seen her in a long time.
Yeah, what's she up to? Is she doing movies still?
I don't know.
She hasn't put an album out or nothing.
Is she a singer?
She could be.
She could be. Who knows?
Hire a vocal coach.
She could be many talents.
So one thing about this movie, I really love the mood. I wish the MCU had more variety in this sense. Like it's serious. Like there were a few, like there's kind of some drier jokes, you know. Mm-hmm. But it's very serious. The stakes seem really high. Like it seems like.
Well, they are if you're in the movie.
Yeah, they're gonna take out all them politicians.
Yeah. Yeah, it was some pretty serious stuff going on.
But you know, the MCU did try to do like a darker movie with Thor: Dark World, sort of. But it didn't really work for them. But, you know, maybe hire some of these people, these writers. I don't know, you know.
Yeah, whoever they were 24 years ago. Maybe they're still doing that.
We should have credited them, you know.
I forgot that Jennifer Lawrence did not play Mystique in this. In this movie.
She plays her later.
Rebecca Ramen? Is that how you pronounce her last name? I don't remember.
Luckily, they both have blue skin, so like you can't really tell.
Oh, you're so funny.
Thanks.
Jennifer Lawrence, her notorious blue skin.
So this movie made it so easy to hate Cyclops. And I love that because I really hate Cyclops as a character.
Uh-huh.
If anybody wants to talk about that, like, I would love to. But this is a dude who, like, you know, is obsessed with Jean Grey and, like, really territorial. Or is that what you call it?
Just like a jealous boyfriend.
Very jealous of her.
Yeah.
Right?
Not a good look.
Obsesses over her. She dies. Okay.
Spoiler alert.
But she was cloned. So then he goes and he marries Madeline Pryor, her clone, has a kid with the clone, right?
Uh-huh.
Then, because superheroes don't stay dead, Jean Grey comes back, and he just up and leaves the kid and Madeline Pryor and goes back to Jean Grey.
Wow, this is some Jerry Springer stuff right here.
Yeah, what a jerk.
Yeah.
Plus, he's always acting like a cop all the time. And like he's got it like he doesn't like Wolverine.
He does have that
Everybody
energy.
likes Wolverine.
Yeah, Wolverine's just trying to help.
Wolverine's so cool.
Yeah.
You jealous because you're not cool?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Red sunglasses are dumb. Just kidding. If you wear red sunglasses, I'm sorry.
If that's your thing.
If that's your thing, I love it.
Just not when he does it.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. Well, I thought you'd have more. I have lots of just random little things. I felt like, what's her name, Rogue?
Yeah.
I felt like every time she was going someplace, she should be going to Hogwarts. Because of her giant hood. I was like, is this Harry Potter?
I'm packing up my bags
and also
she like goes from Xavier's school of mutants to
Hogwarts.
I'm going to Hogwarts
it's a crossover
instead.
film.
Yeah.
I also wanted to say like the main point of the movie, it was had a very powerful message. Obviously we've talked a lot about, but I will also say another very powerful message that we need to take away from this film is to wear your seatbelts.
Yes. Well, the first scene of the movie.
Well, not the first scene, but one of the early scenes, isn't it?
Oh yeah, when him and Rogue are in the truck.
Yeah, in the truck. Yeah, and he just goes straight through the windshield.
And they like have a conversation about the seatbelt. She's like, "Shouldn't you put the seatbelt on?" And he's like, "Boom,
I'm fine." Boom.
So I love the Brotherhood of Mutants. Like, I don't think, or sometimes they're called the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. I don't think they're called that in this film. I don't think they call them. They don't call themselves that. Like, I don't think anybody actually calls themselves evil. Maybe they do in the comics. Maybe they did in the early days.
Kind of like Devil's the motorcycle gang. You know, they have like a name that's like.
Yeah. Well,
you wouldn't want to call yourself that. But anyways.
Well, yes. Okay. All right. Well, I just love that there's a whole team of villains. Like, you know, there's always like a whole team of Avengers.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's a good
cool
point.
to have a variety and
of
like
bad guys.
You know, they're like fighting. You know, and you always like kind of forget about them. He's like, oh, they're fighting Sabretooth, and then like, oh yeah, I forgot about Mystique, and then it's like, oh my gosh, there's Toad, and like, what are they gonna do?
Yeah.
Oh no, it's Magneto.
Well, and Mystique is just so tricky, tricky. So Mystique. So mysterious.
I wish I need to get you earphones so you could hear what it sounds like when you go like this.
When you move your head. I'm not going to get that much.
It's okay.
Hogey's being so rude today.
No.
I'm just kidding. Anyways, like when I thought I literally got when what's his name killed Storm. And it wasn't Storm. It was
oh, yeah.
I was so sad. I was like Logan. It was Logan who killed him. Yeah. I know, but I got. So I was like, oh, thank goodness.
Yeah, cuz he could smell.
Cuz it was yeah. I didn't catch on to that at first, and I was very concerned.
Remember my favorite I think my favorite line from the whole movie was when they're putting on the uniforms or whatever and Wolverine's like, you actually go outside in these? And Cyclops goes, well, would you prefer yellow spandex?
Yeah. I wrote that down too.
Did you?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I also really liked the fight scene on the Statue of Liberty. Like, having the Statue of Liberty be like a part of like that whole, I mean, there was a lot of different aspects about the Statue of Liberty itself being used as like a weapon. Yeah. That was really interesting to me. I love like a cinematic monumental fight scene like that, I guess. Yeah. It was kind of cool.
I wish we had like 30 seconds of like just the X-Jet Like I love the X-Jet. The X-Jet is like greater than the Quinjet, the Avengers Quinjet.
Wait,
so
what are
cool.
you? What's that? The X-Jet?
The X-Men, their jet, the X-Jet.
Oh, they're
when they like fly into the Statue of Liberty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, and they went like incognito.
And I'm glad the movie they didn't just put it in like one of the Blackbirds or whatever they're called. Like they didn't just put it in like a different plane. They actually made, well, like the computer made it or whatever. All right, so they're in the Statue of Liberty. Another thing about that fight, that was the first time in the movie. Surprisingly, that was the first time in the movie I noticed when Wolverine says "bub."
Oh,
so I think though when you're watching X-Men, if you want to, optional drinking game, like whatever, Wolverine says "bub."
Yeah. I thought it was interesting at the end. Jean says something. I don't remember exactly who it's to, but she talks about how, cause like Rogue is somebody that when she touches another person, she, I don't know, like basically harms them. What's exactly happening? What's the best way to describe that?
So like, she siphons off their
energy,
basically their life force and their powers if they're a mutant.
Okay. So she made a comment about her she took on a few of your personality traits for a while, but we survived.
Oh, yeah.
So that is that something that like happens then? I don't know. I was confused about that.
I don't know. Like I don't remember that particularly being a thing. But perhaps so like the X-Men content I know the most. Well, at this point, the X-Men content I know the most is the Fox movies, like that we're talking about now. But like from the cartoons, like Rogue just kind of is always the same because it's always the same. Like it's the voice actress; she's got her accent and everything, and like, so I don't ever remember that being like changing her personality. But it could be. I don't know. I thought it was a funny line, interesting little twist. So, Xavier. Wait. Oh, actually, go ahead. Like, do you have more notes? Here's what I have left, and setting up the second movie, Magneto and Charles. That's all I have left to talk about.
Yeah. I wrote down that Cerebro is basically just like Alexa.
I love that. Yeah. It's like big dome Alexa.
Yeah. Like somewhere that's what Alexa looks like.
Yeah.
And we're just all have one in our kitchens.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, there's like a super Alexa and there's like find all the people. And then, oh, no.
That's basically what we're dealing with. So,
yeah.
#AI.
Yeah. Well, I going back to the second movie thing, I love that when Wolverine's leaving at the end, they set up like the Alkali Lake thing. They were so confident in this movie, even though so early on, for Marvel movies and everything, that they were like, we're already writing the second movie.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
I thought. And I guess, I don't know, like most movies do that, set up the sequel, and they can always cancel the sequel or whatever.
Yeah.
But it I don't know, it just...
#Spider-Man.
It just really got you like, yeah, do it.
Yeah. Well, and it was a really good, I mean, all the X-Men stuff was really good content that they put out. So that was
What do you
exciting.
mean Spider-Man?
About how, because of the writer's strike, the one after No Way Home was canceled indefinitely or whatever.
I don't
part
remember
2.
that.
We just talked about it on the podcast, how he's the
it wasn't canceled. It's coming out still.
I know, but they did put out a statement saying that it was canceled indefinitely, but then they...
Oh.
Never mind.
I'll have to look into it.
You were...
Sorry, I don't remember. So Magneto is like my favorite villain, but I think he's more of an anti-villain.
Is that the same as an anti-hero?
So I would describe it. So I would say it'd be like the opposite of an anti-hero. Okay. But like, so an anti-hero would be like a reluctant hero, or like
they don't care about anybody else necessarily. They're not doing it because they want to be heroic.
An anti-hero is just like the conditions are right, or they've been like kind of forced into playing the role of the hero, even though they don't like have the traits. They wouldn't choose this on their own. Mm-hmm. The anti-villain is like would be otherwise a good person, but has been put into bad circumstances and has chosen to, like in this case, like stick up for himself.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
You know, I mean,
well, like he genuinely does think he's doing what he thinks is best. I mean, he's seeing a lot of injustice done to the people, the mutants.
He's doing what, I mean, yeah, and he's had like a harder life than Professor Xavier and everything, and you know, it seems like he has legitimate, believable, understandable reasons for the motivations he has. Mm-hmm. And one of my favorite things is like through all this, like him and Charles always remain like friends. Mm-hmm. And they like play chess at the end or whatever.
Yeah.
And they do share that like common bond. Like they're both going to always strive for equality. And I don't know, X-Men is just like such a good idea, such a good series, even if the continuity is like all over the place and it's really impossible to keep track of, especially if you read the comics. But like Charles, one thing about Charles is, although he's a good guy, I've always found that to me, his powers are like really problematic, like reading minds and controlling people.
Yeah, not a good look.
And they do address it in like another movie. Like I think somebody says, I can't remember which movie it was, but somebody says, "Did you just read my mind without my permission?" or something like that. And I don't know. It's also though something that makes the character kind of great because it's really complex. Like him having to decide when it's okay and when it's not. Mm-hmm.
And like trusting his morality on that or whatever.
Right, and it makes it really complex, and you know, he's always doing his best. Like when he takes over Sabretooth to stop Magneto, for instance.
Right.
You know, but a lot of times he just like somebody walks into the room and like he just knows everything about him. So it's kind of like creepy in that way. So
like, and I wonder how much control if he has to show more restraint to not read. Like to not just instantly, like that's kind of how I always looked at it, I guess. Like he has to fight the urge to. My mouth is literally touching this gosh darn dang microphone.
Yeah, but it's sideways, so like the microphone's not facing you. Oh my gosh, I shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh. Okay, what were you saying?
I'm doing my best.
You were doing great.
Oh, thanks.
What were you saying?
I just feel like I've always looked at it more as like he has to show restraint to not read. Like it's almost probably more difficult for him not to just like read what's in your mind, you know, like that would be an easier way to communicate. Like if I could just, instead of like using our words, if I could just be like, boop, I know what you're thinking. Like
it could be. I don't know. I would say that I should read more X-Men comics, but I know I'm not going to. So,
well, we have lots of comic books in our basement. If anybody's looking for comic books, we do.
Yeah, if anybody just wants comic books, just like give me a shipping address and offer to pay the shipping, and I will send them to you. More than you want.
Here's our junk.
Yeah. Any other thoughts about the movie before we rate it?
Oh, an official rating.
Yeah, very
official. This part
official.
Always scares me. No other thoughts.
Okay. Well, what are your, then your final thoughts and your rating.
Yeah. Final thoughts is 2 thumbs up, which is not my rating. That sounds a little bit like a rating, but that's not. What are we what's our scale?
I usually do out of 5 stars, but if that makes you uncomfortable, you could do it out of 8.
No, that's what I was thinking.
7.
5 stars. I'd give it 4.
Okay. Me too. Me too.
Cute.
I don't think there's anything really earth-shattering, but it's totally awesome and much recommended and definitely a must for all Marvel fans.
Yes. And I think that looking back, especially watching it in 2024, I mean, cinematically and stuff and tips and little tricks and little fun things movie-wise, I feel like it didn't seem too like the whole Statue of Liberty stuff. It wasn't like, oh, you can definitely tell this was made in 2000. Like, it honestly didn't seem that terribly outdated feeling.
Yeah, the biggest thing was the characters jumping, like especially like Mystique, Wolverine, Sabretooth, Toad, like or characters
that Toad guy, gross.
or characters. He's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Or characters being thrown, like when they're on cables, you know, and the stunt people on cables. It was like,
Hogey, we can't see those cables. We don't know they're there.
You're right. You're right. I'll just leave it.
What cables?
I have no criticisms of any stunt work in the movie.
That's so funny.
Okay, Haley has a new way that she wants to she wants to close the podcast.
Yeah,
one last segment.
One last segment. I just want to know like a highlight of the week. It's been Hogey hasn't been feeling very well this week, so it's been kind of a bummer, but maybe we can just think of a highlight to, I don't know, it's just joy, something that brought you joy. Because I like to talk about things like that.
Okay, and what was your highlight?
My highlight is these new socks I got.
Oh, because Bernard ate all your socks?
Yeah, so I didn't have very many short socks, but these are very good socks. I can't pronounce the brand. Avia, A-V-I-A. They're like little tennis socks, but they're like a bright color purple, and the pack is a very colorful pack. And I put them on today for the first time and wore them to work, and they are just so comfortable and breathable. So they made my work experience much more joy-filled today.
That's very nice.
So, yeah. What about you?
Okay, so highlight of last maybe couple weeks, I guess, last 10 days.
Oh, wow. Is yours going to be something like really meaningful and mine was my socks?
No.
Oh, thank goodness.
I mean, meaningful to me.
Okay, good.
But, okay, since like beginning of March, I've been, so one thing, I like Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, yeah.
And,
although this is not a Dungeons and Dragons podcast.
No. But I don't know how to DM, and you know, usually that's like missing when you get like some friends together want to play. Like, you usually have to find somebody to DM, and like that's a whole nother like knowledge base and, you know, skill and art and all this stuff. And so, but I've always felt like, I don't know, I'd like to do that. I think I'd enjoy doing that, but I don't feel like I'm the creative. I don't feel like I'm the right person to do that. But I found these videos, Matt Colville on YouTube, Matthew Colville, and he has like a Reddit thing and I don't know, Discord, some other stuff. But anyway, he has a lot of videos, but he has this playlist called Running the Game. And there's 112 videos, and I'm on video like 70 or 80 at this point. And some of them are 6 minutes and some of them are 40 minutes. And since I've been sick, I've been watching them, sometimes in the background and sometimes taking notes intently.
Yeah. And
depending on the topic. And I've been feeling more encouraged about that.
Yeah.
And last night and over today, I just started outlining a campaign.
Yay.
And I think it's a pretty good story.
You know, you just said that you don't feel like you're the most like creative or the right person to do something like that. I think that that could not be the more opposite.
But it would be, I'm not like a fiction writer. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I
wouldn't write a novel.
But you're a creative person. I think of you as a creative person. So I'm glad that you're touching into that a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Well, I think that is the end of our podcast.
Yes. I'm going to go make some orange chicken now. Trader Joe's orange chicken.
Oh, my gosh.
I know. I just dropped that on Hogey.
Oh, my God. Ciao Tutti.